Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Discover a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Hey, it's me, Tyler. Bose open earbuds are stylish. The color, it looks almost like an earring. I feel like it could go with anything. The music I'm making right now feels like a holiday. I want to look like it too. Check out Bose.com for more.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes per detail.
Hello and happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Welcome to a brand new episode of But Am I Wrong, where we talk shit about our own lives, your lives, and lives of people we know tangentially. And by that, I mean politicians, celebrities, and people on the internet. So it's a great time. We have been referred to as the podcast that you listen to after you don't take our advice from our other podcast, Don't Blame Me. But I also think this is ethical shit talking.
Mm-hmm.
Our other podcast, Ethical Gossip, this is ethical shit talking because sometimes we're not talking shit. Sometimes, well, we're always talking shit. It's just, who are we talking shit about? Like, we're getting a situation proposed to us and it might be like, you fucked up here. We're going to talk shit about you. Or someone did you wrong. Let's talk badly about them.
Yeah. I'm excited for this week, just like I am every other week.
Yeah, don't pretend that Melissa's always just through the roof, so excited. And if you want to watch the video version so you can see our reactions and how gorgeous we look and have it be just more of an immersive experience, you can watch the video version on Patreon. And if you really want to be an immersive experience and feel like you want to take the parasocial relationship to a social relationship, you can join our live streams as well. We hang out. We have a good time. We get to know each other. And, the longer you're in it, the more likely I'm able to accurately cast you as a character from a movie or TV show, which is the current trend.
You still have a lot of people to go.
I know. You can't rush vibes.
Yeah, you have a long list. And you're just going with the flow.
I'm very intentional. And I don't regret the choices that I've made. I know Erica's still mad.
Even though some people are mad. But them being mad is very much in character with who you chose for them.
Which is why they're even more upset, because they do realize it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm like, okay, you're mad, and you're mad in the shade of
red.
There you go. So, ginger, might I add.
Mm-hmm.
So on this podcast, we have 3 different segments, and we will explain each one of them before we get into the respective one. But all you really need to know is that we're Meghan and Melisa. We're wonderful, amazing. We are just like the best. But also, as great as we are, we welcome your thoughts and feelings and opinions. So we have voting available for the podcast. Like you'll hear, we have all the segments of who is wrong, and we will obviously cast our own individual verdicts. But we want to hear from you. So you can head over to our Instagram. The votes go up usually after. I mean, they go up always after the podcast. How soon after? Only time will tell. And
that's guessing, baby.
And that's why you have to follow the Instagram account and check back and see. But just know, if we get to Tuesday, you can always send me a DM on my personal account saying, "Hey Meghan, you should post the votes." To that I say thank you. Really, I was going to say, or you can just do that on Wednesday. Wednesday's almost too late because we record on Thursdays. So you can send that over to me, but then just know that we also not only love to read the results and see what you have to say, because we have a whole podcast about that on Friday. We read the results from the previous week. More than that, we also have to hear your thoughts and feelings and why you voted the way you did, if you are voting with the unpopular opinion or the popular opinion. So we just love it. So you send your thoughts and feelings. And if you voted wrong, you can always tell us that you voted wrong. And sometimes I really hope you voted wrong.
Keeping with the theme of this week, which is pickles.
I was like, what's the theme of this week?
I mean, it's not really a real theme, so I wouldn't think that you would guess it anyway. But
down on that.
I was just thinking about how if you're frying chicken, sometimes you can brine it in pickle juice. Just put a pickle on there. Make a fried chicken sandwich with pickles instead of the bread.
You know, I wonder if it would be, I think I might prefer a fried pickle sandwich. So fried pickles as the bun and then grilled chicken. Because I think of the moistness getting on the fried chicken, it would have to be, maybe I'd eat it an inside out boat. So we get the smoother hard side.
Yeah.
So it gets less
That's
wet.
how I was seeing it in my head.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Or cut like chicken tenders inside of the boat.
Wait, have I not told you that I've been to a restaurant that has gluten-free fried pickle chips, which I had never had before?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think you fry the pickle long ways and then put a chicken strip. I think we got to just have a whole concept restaurant.
No, like there's so much to do with America's favorite food.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to call it Big Pickle.
Yes. Yes.
And we need to be on the lobby. Look at me now. Look at me shifting my ties. I'm suddenly pro lobby and I am a lobbyist for pickles.
Okay. I'm sorry. It's just in my head.
Until it's in your mouth and in your belly, it's going to be in your head.
I know. Ugh. Maybe I made a mistake. No, because then I would just be talking about how good it tastes.
Yeah, no. The edging is, it's going to make it worthwhile.
All right. So I have a very unserious hot take. And mine is we need to be more proactive when we're praying for people's downfall or wishing for people's downfall. Because I think we're being more big picture. Like I hope that they get hit by a bus. It's too macro. I think we need to shrink it in. You still wish for and hope for those things, but we can also be hoping for micro things that are more attainable in the short term. And so I just want to share some suggestions.
You want to speak it into existence?
I do. Like hoping that their hangnail gets caught in their sweater.
Oh.
Hoping that they get real comfortable in their bed when they're going to sleep. And then as 2 seconds before they're about to fall asleep, they get the urge to pee. Hoping that their alarm clock doesn't go off for a big meeting. Hoping that they start to make a meal. And then before they realize that they have done this and the meal is almost done, they have used olive oil body wash instead of actual olive oil.
The way I saw that TikTok and I shed a tear for that one.
Yes, because it looked good.
It looked delicious. It looked creamy.
Yeah.
And dare I say, sudsy.
Sudsy?
I was like, damn, it's almost too creamy. It's almost that it could foam up in sort of a lather.
I hope that when you go to the grocery store, the only cart that's left is one that has a janky, squeaky wheel. I hope that you get home, you forget to take your keys out the door, go to sleep, wake up the next morning, tear up your whole house looking for your keys. And then you think you might have left them in your car. You go outside, you turn the handle, the keys jiggle on your actual door. And then you live with the dread that if a serial killer would have come by that night, they could have come into your house. I hope that you get on a plane and you forget to charge your earbuds. I hope that you go to a friend's birthday party at a restaurant, but you don't realize it's the wrong day until 45 minutes have passed.
Oh my God.
I hope you plan on sleeping in, but you forget it's trash day and all you hear all morning are the trucks coming by and dumping bins. I hope you accidentally leave your house with slippers on. I hope your audio and video on your TV are slightly out of sync. I hope that you wear ankle socks, but they keep rolling down to your shoe, and then when you pull and you can't pull them up, and then your ankle is just constantly rubbing on the back of your shoe and you get a blister. So those are just a few. I would like everyone to write in with their own thoughts of just micro things that we can hope that it contributes to someone's downfall. And I think if there's a lot of micro things that happen, the fall will be even harder when it gets there.
How can we get in contact with Kendrick for him to sample that for his next draft? Because I hate to say that sometimes a man shifts the culture, but who knew a man was going to put me in my biggest hater era ever? And I have to say that I think that's breeding creativity.
I think so too.
That is engineering. That is women in STEM. It is also like the way that I stepped out of the house in my slippers like last week, and I went, no! And then I literally like stood at the sink scrubbing them. Yeah. So clean.
That time that I walked you to your car and I didn't realize I had my slippers on until we were at the car.
Devastating.
Mm-hmm.
Devastating. So I love that. You know, was going to say, I initially thought you were like, we need to think smaller picture. I was like, oh yeah, not get hit by a bus. I want you to get hit by a bus at 5:45 tomorrow morning.
I have like short-term goals.
Yeah, you need to get specific. Like, when is the bus coming? Where is the bus hitting them? How injured are they going to be? Do they have health insurance? I was like, yeah, for sure. Because I don't know if you've seen, but Ethel Cain did something that I, without a doubt, have done. She just did it like she upticked it and she reposted something about the U.S. signing to send more weapons to bomb Gaza, and said, "We need to bring back assassinations." And then she tagged him. And I'm like, as someone who says,
I think I saw that too.
Presidents don't get assassinated like they used to, and I've said it like politicians like. Damn, politicians don't get assassinated like they used to. I've said it, and people have been like, Meghan, you cannot say that. Like, the FBI is going to come to your house. And I go, first of all, FBI has never been to my house. And if they did, I would go, cool, checked off the bucket list. Because you know who? They've probably also been to Jane Fonda's house. And I'm like, if they did it to Jane Fonda, I know I'm doing it right. But also, they didn't. But for her, I was like, I saw it and I said, lol. And then it was like, I went on, I saw everyone that I like follow and knew. It was like lawyers that I follow being like, girly pop, we'll represent you for free. Love you, slay queen, don't stop. And I was like, I didn't see a single thing wrong with it until I started seeing it like on TikTok news and people being like, oh my God, that's so irresponsible. And I went, oh my God, the way that I didn't even blink. Cause I was like, I say this all the time. And people were like, she made a threat to the president's life. And I went, Ethel Cain? Grammy? I think she's a Grammy winner, let alone not even just Grammy. Not like she's not. She made an Instagram.
Gotta be honest, I don't know who she is.
I think you'd enjoy it. So she does. Ethel Cain is like a character, but it's like.
As I see, her name is Hayden Silas Horner.
Yeah, people.
She's from Florida.
Yeah, people refer to her, and if anyone hears this and they're upset by it, I didn't say it. I'm not agreeing with it, but like, university level or intellectualized Lana Del Rey of like she plays a character, and like so her entire discography and like this one specific album is like about this person who she's created, who has a whole storyline of like their whole life, and like she has like the dates when these things happen and all of this kind of stuff, and like it's very intricate and like very, very high concept, but also like just good music, very curated like image kind of a thing. And Ethel Cain without a doubt would call for the assassination of Joe Biden. Except Ethel Cain was dead by the time Joe Biden was president. But your way works better because it won't send the feds to your door. And I love that.
Me too.
And now every time that happens to me, I'm going to be wondering who's praying for my downfall. But more importantly, I'm not going to feel bad about that. I'm going to go, damn, I'm on the forefront of somebody's thought. Someone's thinking about me.
Last night, this is what inspired it. It wasn't even last night. I'd say about 5:00 in the morning, I got up to pee. And when I came back, I knocked over my water bottle and it spilled on the floor by my bed. And I was like, I'm too sleepy to do anything about this. It's annoying, but let me just lift up my comforter so it's not touching the floor and I'm done. And I went back to sleep.
So how many times does your water bottle have to spill over before you start putting a lid on it? Because you used to be correct when you said, bitch, you're the one who spills. I don't spill.
Yeah, I did.
That used to be true.
It used to be true.
It is now no longer true.
Yeah.
So what's your excuse now?
It's just going to keep happening.
Life's going to life.
And I'm not going to make any changes. I don't like lids. I think they're disgusting, which I know they're not. Like,
no, but
if you're cleaning it,
they are.
Yes. Like if you're cleaning it regularly, yeah, they're fine. But like, I don't like them. They are cumbersome to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just don't like that I have to constantly clean them all the time. I don't want them. So I prefer to have an open lid. And if I knock it over, I knock it over. It's just water.
I love that. I love that vibe. And you know what really would be solved by? If, you know, when I'm in Congress, the bill I'm going to pass is water doesn't need to be cleaned of water. And therefore, we should all be able to have lids and straws that don't need to be cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
So my venture as Women in STEM, sharks today, what I am pitching to you is self-cleaning water.
Yes.
So I support you living recklessly. Live life
Thank
on the
you.
edge.
Thank you.
I do it accidentally all the time. So I'm like,
you stay with the lid.
And I drop full water bottles on my legs.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even screw it on, and then I pick it up by the lid and I spill it everywhere. Doesn't protect you.
So what are you going to do?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So my hot take is less of a hot take and more of a rant, because I'm constantly learning new things. And this is why we can't get rid of TikTok, which that's the small reason, is because I learn new things and I like it, but also because it, you know, it brings community together and championing. So this all started when I saw someone crying on a TikTok just with music, and it was saying something like, I'm not even like a Southwest flight attendant, but I'm crying knowing the change that this makes for the rest of us. And I like couldn't figure it out. Then I forgot about it because it was too hard for me to figure it out. Kept scrolling, and then I end up on another flight attendant who I've seen before, and I was like, oh my gosh, how is this girl? Because she had a sinus infection and she had to be what is it called when you're not allowed to grounded? She was stuck on the ground because you can't fly with a sinus infection because it'll rupture, especially if her ears are plugged. It could rupture her eardrums. And I was like, oh my God, I found this flight attendant. I got to check back into her sinus infection, which I actually never did because I got distracted by this. And so my hot take is we need to pay flight attendants like travel nurses. Some of you might be saying, how are travel nurses paid? I'm not entirely sure, but I know they make good money. So if travel nurses is not the right comparison to this, pick your own adventure. But I'm saying they need to be paid a premium in their field. So I think of like nurses should all be paid very well. Travel nurses, we know, get paid even more. So that's why we're doing this comparison. Because I also think they are crucial. I do think flight attendants should be considered in STEM. It is an essential worker. And I think it should be also a government job in the sense that of the Social Security. I think of like your health insurance, if your family, all of that. It needs to be like a cushy goddamn fucking job because the shit that they deal with is mind blowing. And I want to explain to you, if you don't know, and anyone else who doesn't know, how flight attendants get paid. Flight attendants are paid per hour. Hourly employees. Now, what hours, you might think? Only the hours where the plane is flying in the air.
Yep.
So while we're, as passengers, pissed off because the flight is delayed, that flight attendant got up at 4 a.m. in a hotel of a city that they don't live in, living out of a carry-on suitcase. They put on a full fucking a full makeup, full ass glam. They are wearing heels. They might be sensible heels, but there's no heel that is sensible to wear at 4 a.m. in the click-clack of the loud and tough ground of that linoleum airport. They wear it. They're towing along their bags. They've got the really tight updo, little skirt or pants, but mostly a skirt. Then they have to deal with people screaming in their faces all the livelong day. And they are actually not getting paid to be there. They're not getting paid to be there. And then the flight's delayed. People are upset. People are livid. And guess what? They're still not paid to be there. And let's say the flight ends up taking off at 6 p.m. It's an hour-long flight. Oh, but now you land there at 7. The next flight that you were supposed to be the flight attendant on, that's already gone. Oh, okay. So what do you do? Now you wait and you wait and you wait. And then you get another one. And then you board that plane. Oh, and that one's delayed. And you wait and you wait and you wait.
They don't even get paid for when you're boarding on the plane.
Nope. You don't get paid for interacting with customers. You don't get paid for like rebook. Like if you're whatever you are doing with that, no, not paid. So if you are stuck on the tarmac on Christmas Eve for 10 hours, you are in your work outfit, work hair. You got up for work at work time. You are eating your lunch that you packed for yourself at work, and you are not getting fucking paid. That's like babysitting without being paid for it. It is like you're going to babysit, but the parents are going to like be home, but they're not going to actually be here. And then the kids are going to sleep, and then they're going to wake up. So you're actually only going to be paid for the time that you take them to the park. But you're there for 18 hours. Why would you only get paid for 2 of those hours, 4 of those hours maybe? Mind blowing. And then people assume, and a lot of people commented on this person's TikTok being like, oh my God, well, how much do you make per hour then? It has to be so good. Average salary, $27. $27 per hour of work. So then divide that over the course of everything. Absolutely horrendous. Like just fucking horrendous. And people all the time, oh my God, you get all those free flights like this, but it's viewed as this, like, specifically for women, it's viewed as this like exotic and kind of like sexy, very cool girl job. And I think people look at it being like, you know how people interact with customer service representatives or whoever, or anyone they view as like service workers. It's like at a fancy restaurant or whatever. It's like, oh, well, this person's like, they definitely get to like serve celebrities and like they get to take food home that's so good. So like, you know, whatever. Like this is, I'm just like you view yourself as like lower than that person who's working there. So you give them all of this goddamn fucking attitude. And I'm like, they are not getting paid nearly enough money for this. And also, depending on like the hub of what airline you work for, like where it's based out of, oh my God, so expensive because it's cities. Like where the base and the hub of these airports is major cities. So you can't live in a cheap suburb that's like 4 hours away because it's like, no, I have to be able to be next to the airport, and the airport is going to be in the city. And so it's like, you're getting paid a ridiculously little amount for so much work, so much like customer facing work at all hours. And then dealing with problem solving, dealing with like bodily fluids, not just like personality clashes and all of that, health emergencies, like all of these different things. And then you're getting on planes that we don't even know if they can be flying in the air. So what if, and then the Boeing plane crashes, and what? You're only getting paid for half the time you're in the air, because after you crash, you're no longer flying. And I just think it's horrific, and we need flight attendants. Like that's something that like we need, and they do so much. And so for the fact that I think Southwest, if I'm not wrong, they're the first one who started to change the pay structure. I'm not sure entirely how they're doing it, but I need them all to change that. And they all need to be paid like travel nurses. Like if you're being forced to live in a big city that you have to for your job needs to pay you enough money to live there, because everyone who they need has to live there. There is no alternative where it's like, oh, well, then get a different job. But it's like, no matter what, whoever they need to hire for this job has to live there. So therefore, they need to be paid enough money to live there.
They need to be paid wherever their hub is. They need to be paid for a salary, not by hour. And they should only be working a certain amount of hours. Like when it gets to that time, cut off. If there's a delay, like, you know, but I'm thinking of like doctors, like, and so they're not overworking them because they're on salary, but like there should be a cutoff at some point where like you can't work more than this amount of hours in a week or whatever. Yeah. And they, like you said, they should be making like a living wage based on that city that they are stationed in.
Yep. Yeah. Because like, I think back of the girl who had the sinus infection. She couldn't work for like 3 weeks. She can't fly. So therefore, she can't make any money. The Southwest Airlines flight attendants ratify a contract that will raise pay about 33% over 4 years. So it's like also back pay essentially from what they should have been paid. The deal gives Southwest crews the shortest on-duty day and highest paid in the industry. And the workers will also split $364 million in ratification bonuses.
Allegiant also raised theirs too. It'll be as much as 41.2%.
Good, because I think that like we are in desperate need of medical professionals, teachers, and pilots as well, but pilots and flight attendants. And we cannot function without those things. And therefore, we need to create optimal ways for that. And I think of everything, I always think teachers should be paid more, but it is uniquely cruel about how much we know airlines make. And like all of, like, we know the profits of that. And Boeing and people who build planes and shit, and then they do nothing with it. Like, and like, even with like the early pandemic, all of the bailouts that they got and all of the loans and all of those things, knowing that that was done to maintain the profits, not, compensate the employees fairly, specifically also for how much more horrible it's gotten in the last couple of years. Like, imagine the flight attendants on that plane where the person shit themselves and they landed and they had to like clean up and they weren't being paid.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up.
So, flight attendants, we fly at dawn.
And you will get paid.
Fuck yeah.
All right. We're going to take a break. And when we get back, we'll get into But Are You Wrong?
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
This episode is brought to you by United Airlines. When you want to make the most of your vacation, book with United. They're an airline that cares about your travels as much as you do. United is transforming the flying experience with Bluetooth connectivity, screens, power at every seat, and bigger overhead bins to help fit everyone's bag. And with their app, you can skip the bag check line, get live updates, and more. Change the way you fly. Book your next trip today at united.com.
Listen in. Starbucks. It's a great day for coffee.
Welcome back. It's time to get into But Are You Wrong? That's when y'all write in, share your predicaments that you are having in your life, and then we judge you.
Yep. And we judge the other people involved as well.
Hey ladies, love the pod. I am needing to know if I'm wrong for wanting to leave my job. I'm 31, she, her. I've worked this job since I finished my master's program when I was 26. I have great money, but I'm not my best self. I can't talk about this with anyone in my inner circle because they all see it as, oh, you're making a great living. It'll work itself out. I work late nights and sometimes weekends. I am exhausted. If I'm honest with myself, my real dream is art. I love painting and sculpting. I knew it wasn't a guaranteed income, and since I grew up without much money, I wanted a job with security. Now I have what I wanted, but I am unhappy. My fiance thinks I should take a mental break and think on it. I would feel terrible going into our marriage in the fall with no job and just a dream that may or may not work. Would it be wrong to quit my job and try following my dream? How much money does your fiance make?
That's a great question.
Because if he makes enough where it's enough to cover the both of you and he's fine with you, he said that he's fine with you quitting your job to figure things out, go for it. Go for it. If you are more into your own financial security without him, then let's take up art as a hobby that you do on the side. Continue working your job for now, but maybe find something else that you are qualified for that would be more fulfilling, that's making the same amount of money or more.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. The whole thing is that, like, if you are going to quit your job to follow your dream, your fiance is also allowed to quit his job to follow his dream.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that it's allowed for one person, it's not for the other. So if you set that establishment where it's like, it's okay for one of us to, you know, to lose the financial, the salary that we have for our life, then it has to be okay for the other one to make that choice too. Like, one's not prioritized over the other. But I will say, no matter how much you love something, it becomes a job. And I think, like, painting and sculpting, also, when you look at people who have that as a career, it's usually people who don't need to make money. It's usually rich people. That's like a very cushy kind of quote unquote job. But I think, like, it doesn't have to be all or nothing, because, and I say that as, like, we are two people who work in, like, creative industries, but we have to make money. And there's a way that, like, we could quit everything and just write and try and make things, but that is not sustainable. Also, the pressure cooker of that means that you then start being like, okay, well, this has to do this. It has to eventually be a success. And it will then make you resent the hobby and the thing that you love, because you then start viewing it as a failure if you are not making the money that you set your goals to make, even if it's exponentially less than you make in your current job. So I do think it would be a mistake, because dreams are also fleeting. Like, that you're at your dream job. Like, this was what you had initially wanted to do. And if we look at things and then we're like, okay, this is actually, like, fucking kind of sucks, I think it's good for us to, like, pinpoint, like, why does this suck? What do I not like about this? And, like, what could I change about this that would make me like that? And if it's just like, I really just, like, don't want to do this kind of work, it kind of sucks. It's like, okay, well, let me look for a consulting job where I'm doing what I'm doing, but for half as many hours with half as much pay. And then I can use my free time that I will actually then have to do the things that I, like, love to do. But I do think, like, working super late and working on weekends and all of that stuff is not sustainable in general. So I don't disagree with your boyfriend that you should have a mental break and think on it. I wholeheartedly agree with that, because you have to think long term. And how old are you? 31. Yeah. So unless you are dying relatively soon, or you've saved enough money that you won't need to, like, ever work again, I think there's a way to kind of have everything. And I do find that hobbies work the best, and, like, passion projects work the best when that's not the only thing you're doing, and it's not what you're relying on for all of your happiness and all of your income. You can be multifaceted, but right now I think the biggest issue is that you don't have time. So I would say you would be wrong if you just up and quit if there was no financial safety net.
Right.
And if your fiance has money and you're going to do what you're doing, have him, like, put money away for you in an investment account, like high yield saving, something where it's like you're accruing money at that time. But then also, like, you might be asked to take on more of, like, household stuff, which you might dislike. So, yeah. But if he's rich, and if he's not rich, maybe you break up with your fiance and find a rich man close to death with a kiln.
And put his body in it?
Well, no, because she likes to sculpt. So make some pottery.
And then you could go back to your fiance once you
and
get
you
the
can
money.
make him an urn when he dies.
Mm-hmm.
Sayonara, sweet cheeks.
All right. Next one.
Yes. Hello, ladies. I'm so excited to finally have something to write about for the first time. So my cousin is basically like a sister to me. She is struggling in her living situation and asked if she could stay with me for a little bit, but wouldn't be able to pay because she's still in her lease. I have a 2-bedroom apartment and use the spare room as a closet. I can let her move in for a bit, but 3 things. 1, I don't want her to get too comfortable. 2, I like my own space. 3, I'm not into paying for grown people. Would I be wrong for telling her no? I understand her situation really does suck. I don't want to be selfish, but damn, I enjoy my peace. See, without you telling us her situation, I'm inclined to be like, don't do it. And I'm thinking you didn't tell us the situation because you're like, that would sway your mind, but it clearly hasn't swayed your mind. Yeah. So therefore, follow your arrow.
Right. Like if she's not in like danger, she just like lives with somebody that leaves like jars of piss everywhere. Disgusting. But we can work through, it's contained in a container. We can work through that until the lease is up.
Buy her some mason jars.
Yeah.
Yeah. As someone who has let someone like stay with me while they were just like searching for an apartment and then they like never left and I didn't get my security deposit back, which was $10,000. Yep, you heard me correctly. $10,000. When someone stays for free, they've got a real good thing going on. So you either have to make it like so subtly uncomfortable that they're like, God, I gotta get out of here. Because otherwise, every apartment that they toured, they go, yeah, this is a lot more expensive than free 99.
Mm-hmm.
You then have to become the horrible living situation that they have to get out of. So that gets a little dicey. You know, this isn't, don't blame me, so I don't have to necessarily give you advice, but I'm not above making up fake rules for an apartment complex.
I was going to say the same thing. Most leases even have like visitors that aren't on the lease can't stay longer than like a month, usually shorter than that, like 2 weeks. So there probably is something in your lease that will not let her stay full term, especially if she's on a lease somewhere else. And then she'll be like, well, I can get on your lease. And you'll be like, no, you can't, because they're going to call and verify you haven't moved out the other one. You still have a lease there.
Yeah. So. And your name can't be on a lease if you're not paying or you haven't passed like a background, like not background. She'd need a co-signer and you can't co-sign for her.
Yeah. So check your lease.
Yeah.
Your answers are probably there already.
Because you say that and you're like, oh yeah, like totally. And especially like, oh yeah, I checked my lease and like, you can totally come stay with me. You can only stay for 2 weeks. Otherwise, like that's the only thing that they like legally allow. And she might very quickly be like, oh, never mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean you have to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
And if your lease doesn't have anything about that, lie or go to your leasing office and say, hey, my cousin wants to move in with me and I really don't want her to. And I heard that there are places where you can't stay for more than one time. Do you want to enact a new policy? Or could you just pretend that that's the policy here? Thanks.
What are the chances that your cousin is even going to go to the office after you tell them?
So I mean, I don't know. But like, I'm pretty sure it's nearly every state.
Yeah.
Because that's what gets into squatting.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how much the U.S. government loves to talk about squatters' rights.
All right. So you're not wrong. As long as she's not in danger, you're not wrong.
And if she's in danger and you're not the right person to help her out of said danger, then it might be also out of your scope in the same way that you can help out and then I'm a step 1. Then we go to step 2.
All right. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into But Are They Wrong?
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need, have coverage options to protect the things you value most, file a claim right on the State Farm mobile app, and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This episode is brought to you by Peloton. Looking for an easy workout? You're in the wrong place. Peloton Tread has what you need to challenge yourself. Need to be pushed to your limit? Their elite coaches will keep you on track to break past your goals. Whether you're looking to get stronger or faster, Peloton Tread has everything you need to become everything you want. Find your push. Find your power. Peloton. Visit onepeloton.com to learn more.
Ah yes, the magnificent Trolley Sour Bright Crawler, also known as Trollicus brightolus. The worm's captivating neon colour makes it an easy, gummy prey.
Trolley!
It's a surprisingly sour, invitingly chewy, staggeringly snackable species unlike anything else found on this planet.
Eat me!
Delicious. Visit trolley.com to shop now.
Trolley, eat me!
And we're back. It's time for Better They Wrong, where we talk about current events, pop culture, person, place, or thing, someone in the current events zeitgeist who needs, I don't know, in my case, needs to disappear, cease to exist. And I mean that violently.
I love how our words sync up.
It's because we share a brain. Mm-hmm. And even days where I'm like, I'm having diarrhea today, and you're like, bitch, me too. We also apparently share bowel movement. Like, it's like twins who are like, I know what the other person's thinking.
Mm-hmm. And I appreciate it so much.
It makes it so much easier. But it makes it hard for me to communicate with other people because it's not the same. And I go, oh, you mean I actually have to fill in the rest of the words in this sentence?
Yep. All right. My nomination is Marquise White, who is a teacher at a middle school in Maryland. And he made a video on TikTok that has been viewed over 7 million times on his TikTok page, and it's been reposted a ton too, where in the video he has 4 or 5 students, you can't quite see, girls that he calls his besties, to help him take down his hair while they're at school. So he says it was after they were done with their homework, and so his hair was braided, and he had them like gathered around, didn't blur out their faces, didn't blur out the name of the school, and they're unbraiding his hair. In another video, he's also said that he let his students paint his nails. And it says, the student you see in this video has goals and aspirations to be a nail tech. Her mom watches my videos all the time. Not only does she love it, but she signed a media release form for her daughter. Why do they have these media releases at school as it is? The only teacher content I like on TikTok is one where they're just showing other teachers and they're like, finish the name of this song or finish this song, and you never see a student in it. Or 2, the teacher will just have a camera on themselves and don't show the students at all. He also said that he rewarded them for their time by giving them a beverage and a snack. And the video has generated a lot of comments and talk. Some people are divided on this. One person said he's more of a father than most. And then someone critical of the video said this is a little too close and personal. And for me, I fall in the latter category. Teachers and students should not be touching, period. Unless it's like a high five or something. Mm-hmm. A commenter who describes himself as a social worker said, you are following all the appropriate boundaries. You are in the open, not alone with one student, and the students are willing participants. The energy is great. They're children. I don't believe this person is
I really want to believe they're not a social worker.
Yeah. And if they actually are, report it. Mm-hmm. But like, just because somebody is doing something in the open, and I'm not saying that he isn't, or is, I don't know this man, he could be anybody, but like just because somebody is doing something in the open doesn't mean that they aren't doing it behind closed doors either. That's actually a great cover. Mm-hmm. He was always so good to everybody else, but that one person, disgusting. And someone else said, as a parent, I would be livid, or as a mother, I would be livid. And then he got on to his TikTok again in a well-lit room with a mic, which
ring light.
A ring light and a podcast mic, which is red flag. and is trying his hardest to cry, but the tears just aren't quite making it to his tear ducts.
Get my boy a menthol stick stat.
He said that he received messages from students, and some said they miss his presence and they were waiting for him to return to school. And to that I say, how do they have contact with you if you're not at the school anymore? And then he said an unconventional teacher is someone who eschews traditional teaching methods and approaches in favor of innovative, creative, and non-traditional techniques to engage and educate their students. Unbraiding hair is a skill that a teacher should be teaching that isn't at a cosmetology school. Yeah, no. You are so in the wrong, sir. Also, I forgot to add that in that video, he has fresh braids and a lineup. So who are you doing all this for? The Prince George County Public Schools said that he's been assigned out of classroom pending the outcome of the investigation. People were saying before that he'd been fired. He said before he'd been fired, but he hasn't actually been fired yet until the investigation concludes. And he said, I take the time to get to know my students outside of academics because caring for a whole child is what's important. You're a teacher. You care about academics. If things come up that you should be aware of where the student is unsafe at home, then yes, you bring that up to someone above you. But like, it is not your job to have a personal relationship with the student, and they should not have access to you outside of school.
And if it was so innocent, why were there no boys doing his hair?
Yeah. Yep.
And if it's teaching life skills, why aren't you teaching the boys how to take out their own hair? Why are you teaching them that women should be doing that for them?
It's just weird. He's weird.
He's super weird.
Weirdo behavior.
I don't like his Instagram account his TikTok, because he makes his teacher videos, then he has like shirtless thirst trap videos on his TikTok. He also, if I'm not mistaken,
his actual TikTok, because I was just like, this dude is fucking weird.
Yeah, he talks about how like I'm pretty sure, if I'm not wrong, that he is still texts his old students, which I'm like, nope, inappropriate. And I don't know if you said this at the beginning, it wasn't even a video. It was he was live streaming it, and then had started it with, I sent this to my friend. told my friends this, or was talking to my friends, which I'm like, so you're FaceTiming your friends while you were doing this initially, or he live streamed, whatever. And like people in the comments were upset about what he was doing, being like, this is inappropriate. And then he told his friends, and his friends was like, yeah, no, don't do that. That's inappropriate. And then he posted it being like, so I just want to stir the pot. And I'm like, so your peers, your friends who you respect, told you that was inappropriate. And you said, okay, let me post it in full. Yeah. The whole thing that I saw someone make a really great point with this, that it's like, he can have totally innocent intentions, but the power dynamic is there. And so he's opening the door for someone who doesn't have innocent intentions to do the same thing to these students. But he also doesn't view it as totally innocent because he's specifically only doing this with girls. So whether he personally enjoys that, or he just knows it'll get a rise out of people because he knows that it's not innocent. And that's why people get upset about it. Like, this would be an equal opportunity thing. It would be the guy. It wouldn't be all about this. It's just so inappropriate. So you're not wrong whatsoever.
All right.
Okay. So I will say, when I had written this down, nobody knew about this. The way that I got on this news so fast, I sent it to Mons and he was like, what? And I was like, oh yeah, I was on this beginning of like the day that it happened. And I would like to nominate Butker. He's the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. He has a first name, I think, but I don't really care. Harrison, that's his name. So he did a commencement speech at a Catholic college called Benedictine. And if I'm pronouncing that wrong, I don't care. because they invited him to do a commencement speech. And it's not his first commencement speech. He has done it before. So not only did they know what was in store, this man also talks. He talks in interviews. He talks on social media. He's very loud about his opinions. He's very loud and wrong constantly. So they knew what they were doing, and they also paid him for it. So you can listen to his whole speech if you would like to amp yourself up, maybe before you go on a run or you take a kickboxing class. But if you need to be like calm and serene and like rock a baby to sleep, I would hold off on listening to it until you're in the right headspace. So his quotes include saying, "I think it is you, the women." Oh, take in mind, co-ed university. "The women who have had the most diabolic lies told to you. Some of you may go on to lead successful careers, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you'll bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, will be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and a mother. I am on this stage and able to be the man that I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation. It cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because of a girl I met back in middle school who converted to the faith, become my wife, and then embrace one of the most important titles of all." And then he fake tears up and then smiles this maniacal smile and drops the bomb. Homemaker. And to that, I say, the fact that this man received a standing ovation from the graduating class as well as the faculty, I don't doubt that there is at least a dozen women who felt uncomfortably obligated that they had to do this. Also, as a Catholic university, I'm going to bet that the indoctrination of this is pretty deep. But I think that we need to unpack about him. So you might be wondering, what is his background? Oh, I guess we should also include, he did also attack Joe Biden for his lax abortion stance, and as well as talked about the sins of Pride having a full month, and then also about diversity. He went out racist, homophobic, transphobic, sexist. Like he whack-a-mole collected all of the infinity rings of Bigot 101. And we might be wondering, like, where did this hatred of women come from? And right, what we have on our hands is a crybaby who holds his mother to a far different standard than his father. So his mother is beyond accomplished. She is, let me get her title correct because
she deserves it.
She does. She is a physicist at the Department of Radiation Oncology at Emory School of Medicine, has worked there since 1988, and she specializes in two forms of radiation, bicryocharic therapy and gamma knife metaphysics care. I can't even pronounce it, and I promise you that man can't. She has her master's degree in medical physics from Georgia Institute of Technology, got her bachelor's in chemistry from Smith College, and his father also worked in oncology at Emory for 28 years before he retired in 2011. So what I'm hearing is your daddy stayed home by 2011, and turns out you hate your dad, and your dad sucks. So it has to be your mom's fault. And your dad probably hates your mom and probably talks shit on your mom. And therefore, then you also hate your mom. But really what it is you hate anything proximity to femininity whatsoever, anything that doesn't deem you with control. And it is so ironic that he then also continues on in his speech saying, "As men, we set the tone of the culture, and when that is absent, disorder, dysfunction, and chaos sets in." And talks about how important it is to like lean into the masculinity, which is, I'm not here to point fingers or to straighten bow ties. But I have to say, for someone who is so adamant about traditional roles of masculinity, the outfits you are wearing, something Sex and the City costume designer would say, too garish, too much. The way that you can't even sit in those pants that you are wearing, the way that you have, dare I say, the most feminine role and is done usually best by women who have looser hip flexors, the kicker. That is, you are doing mobility exercises. I'm so sorry. It's stretching, not girly. Like this, you are so fucking far from this ideal version of masculinity that you are preaching. It has become a full circle. You hate women so much. Your Instagram account, my guy, that is for the male gaze. That women are not looking at that going, damn, nope. Full circle. You went so far, I hate women, that suddenly you've pandered your entire life to men. Huh. That's an interesting choice. Now, have people come out of the woodwork and said, you used to suck some dick in college? Yes. Is that true? I don't know. I'm unsure until we hear someone who says, my dick has been sucked by this man. And there is no way it was good. There's no way that man is putting in that good work for that good sloppy toppy. I'm not one to believe in the sense of anytime someone is homophobic, it's because they're closeted and hateful. Though sometimes it does in fact happen. To me, this man has rejected femininity and a proximity to femininity so far that, again, he is now just performing for the male gaze. And that happens for various reasons. I digress. Now, I think it is time for his mother to make good on the motherly statement, I brought you into this world and I can take you back out of it. Ma'am, it is not your responsibility to make this man an upstanding citizen. But I think if you have once uttered that phrase, make good on that threat. Take him out.
You could probably make some, like, something with particles that could just explode and he just disappears without a trace.
I think that's a wonderful, wonderful idea. So I can't continue deep diving on him because he plays for the Chiefs. And so Mott's hates the Chiefs. He's a Broncos fan. And I don't really love them in general, mostly because we don't need to get into it. But there's some pretty bad DUIs with people having horrible, all of these things that happen. Just, lots of keeping things hidden. But he is so hated by his own team. And he was asked about, like, months ago, maybe even years ago, Patrick Mahomes was asking about him. Like, someone was asking Patrick Mahomes about him. He's like, I don't talk to him. I don't talk to that guy. I don't talk to that guy. And the NFL is complicit in, like, all of this. Like, they knew this. Like, everyone knew. He was not shy about this. He's delivered another commencement speech at a different school. Like, he is very vocal about his beliefs. He has photos with the couple who, like, shot at BLM protesters. Like,
I think they're just holding the guns. In DC.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's the ones, and they look like they're at the White House, but they're not at the White House. It's that big white pillory house.
Mm-hmm.
He has, like, photos with them being like, happy to meet them. Like, what is this convention? Like, racist convention, come to San Diego Comic-Con. Like, step and repeat with Josh Hawley. Like, it's so fucking weird. So he's been this way. The NFL has known this. And everybody else has known this. Otherwise, he would not have been asked to speak at this college. Like, the whole thing is, like, for me, there are some people who are like, there's no way he wrote this speech. This feels like, this feels very directed. I don't disagree that it feels very directed. This is so clearly a Fox News audition or a political campaign audition. So in the sense that, like, I don't think that, like, someone big up top is paying him to do this. I think he's paying a speechwriter to help him do this. But really what he's pushing is trad wife, because if he was actually pushing for, I want women to be homemakers and I want them to raise babies, he would be for universal health care. He would be for getting rid of student loan debt. He'd be for all of these things that make it so people are in positions where they are able and safely able and financially able to provide for the kids that they might want to have. But he's not. What he wants is he wants women to be subservient to the men in their lives because he doesn't feel masculine unless he's crushing a woman under his foot. So his wife is also a college graduate and was a college athlete as well. It's unfortunate that she did convert to Catholicism, which I would say it's not too late. So we'll do a little backtrack. And I think this man obviously shouldn't play in the NFL. Do I think the NFL will do anything about it? No, because a lot of men shouldn't play in the NFL. A lot of men play in the NFL actively who have beat their wives, beat their girlfriends, who have had horrible accusations against them, horrible things proven about them. And yeah, do I think people should be playing the sport that results in traumatic brain injuries that literally change the composition of, like, how they react to aggressive situations and make people violent and harmful? No, I do not think that. But what I really think this man should be.
But he's a kicker. It's not like he's getting knocked over.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think he should play in the NFL, but NFL doesn't care about any of this.
I just want to say, like, he has he doesn't even have an excuse of like a traumatic brain injury, because unless you're counting all the times that he slipped and fell when he's trying to kick a ball and he falls on his head. Or he's
high kicking and herkying and hits himself in the head.
Yeah.
This man herkies with a ball. Like, that's what his job is. I think he should be in a place that's cold and damp with little to no air and maggots. And I don't think that place should see the sun. Mm-hmm. That's where I think he belongs. Now we have something that is actually really painful for me to throw in on this. And someone who also might be in the sunken place. Guess who chimed in with their thoughts?
Snoop Dogg.
No, think more wholly. Not personally, professionally. Think someone with a tie to Kiki.
Wholly with a tie to Kiki? Strahan?
Closer in profession.
I don't know.
Whoopi.
Oh, God.
Melisa. I would like to give a shout out to every other news publication, because right now the only one who's picked this up is Page 6. And I say thank you because, Joy, I need you to have a heart-to-heart with my girl Whoopi, and I need her to retract those statements tomorrow morning.
Whoopi says some controversial things.
Uh-huh. And this one, to me, I would like to blame a producer, because I truly do not believe she has heard what he's talking about whatsoever, which is another habit of sometimes when she says controversial things, she goes, oh, I actually didn't hear the whole thing. I just read the headline. So she stood up for him saying, listen, and I don't disagree with part of this. I like when people say what they need to say, which I agree with. If you are a bigot, tell me you're a bigot. Don't pretend you're not, and then do whatever. So say who you are. Then we go into, he's at a Catholic college. He's a staunch Catholic. Those are his beliefs, and he's welcome to them. Also, Page 6 is being shaded because they do include facial reaction shots of all of the other women, and they are not happy. She clarified that people do not have to believe or accept his beliefs, but they have to respect him. We want to give respect to people whose ideas are different than ours. And then...
I don't.
Well, it's like, you're going to die. She compared the situation to the time Colin Kaepernick knelt during the national anthem to protest racial injustice in 2016 as people who wanted the quote-unquote same respect back then. I'm okay with him saying whatever he says, and the women who are sitting there, if they take his advice, good for them. They'll be happy. If they don't, good for them. They'll be happy in a different way. That's my attitude. And she also argued that the chiefs shouldn't fire him for his beliefs. I have the right to say what I say. He has the right to say what he says. When you say to somebody, I don't like what you said, and so I'm going to get your job taken away because you disagree with me, that's an issue. Sunny's face is just angry. So is Joy. It happens to us all the time. That's why I'm standing up for him. I don't understand what he's talking about because I'm not that Catholic. But I have to say, just like my opinions, we all have our own opinions. And then basically is saying that people try and cancel us for our opinions on The View. And I'm like, so your opinions on The View, you're on a roundtable talk show where you're supposed to have differing opinions. He's delivering a commencement speech at a graduation where he's being paid to do this. And this is also not his job. His job is kicking a little ball, doing a pirouette, and wearing a seersucker suit. That's his job. His job is not this. And everyone else was like,
I'm sure Sunny
no.
was ready to beat her ass.
Melissa, the face that Sunny made. She's giving the face saying, who told you to say that?
Mm-hmm.
Give me their name. Give me the name of the bitch who told you backstage to say that. Because you look dumb as fuck right now. Alyssa Farah Griffin. I don't know who this is, but I love when people use religion to dunk on people making quote unquote religious points, like using the Bible. And she said, him praising the role of homemaker when he also ignores half the Bible, which encourages women to be leaders of the community, which is the biggest issue. And I was like, oh, I don't know anything about the Bible, but love it. And then Joy says she disagrees and says that he just has mother issues because his mom's a physicist and says he needs to go to a therapist, which is also true. I hate it. I loved listening to Hoda and Jenna did a segment talking about it. And this man is just like an idiot. And if you are upset because you felt neglected by your mom while she was making the money and she was being incredibly accomplished and all of that stuff because she didn't stay at home, why do you not have the same expectations for your father?
Mm-hmm.
So you can be upset that mommy sent you to daycare. But if I was mommy, I would be upset that this is the man who walked out of daycare. So the women in his life are not responsible for him, but they do know where he lives. And I think he should be afraid to leave his house every day.
Agree.
Have you seen his Instagram?
I've seen photos from his Instagram of him walking off airplanes and in his little tight suits.
Stanley Tucci in Devil Wears Prada would say that's a little garish.
Yeah. I just hope that he goes away. He seems not to be very good at his job from what I can tell. So maybe he is gearing up for his imminent firing so that he can be a talking head on Fox News.
Yeah, his pinned photo on Instagram is him and Josh Hawley.
He's probably going to run for some position. There's so many rumors coming out about him, and I don't care enough to like look to see if they're true or not. I just believe everything I hear.
You know, he might benefit from Alpha Boot Camp.
It might make him worse.
Well, I think in that moment he would actually realize maybe I don't want to be an alpha male because this is really hard.
Yeah, he wouldn't make it.
Really mean to no, he wouldn't make it whatsoever. The man would drown in 3 inches of water trying to do that push-up. And I hope his wife gets the fuck out of there.
Because how embarrassing for her.
Yeah, that's the part that I feel so bad for her. Because like high school sweethearts, you meet then, you convert to the faith. And so then all of your introduction to the faith is also through him. So it like confirms all of the things that he's telling you or feeling about you or whatever. And like, it's just so isolating and like awful and shitty. And like, you're also traveling a ton when you're an athlete. And so like, you're alone with your kids. You also probably have a fucking nanny, but like, imagine just like, you're probably, even with a nanny, you're struggling to keep your head above water. You have kids and he's just not fucking there. And then him being like, she's doing what she's supposed to be doing. And you're like, I have a whole ass college degree.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't appreciate you at all. Like, he also thinks what you do is easy.
Yeah.
So I hope she gets out of this. And I can't wait for Swifties to get a hold of this. Because I'm like, he also does interview. Like, he's like, did interviews like talking about like, he keeps her friend like, oh yeah, my teammate Travis's girlfriend. I hope she has babies and she will fulfill her life's dream. And like, I hope they get married and procreate. I'm like, why are you doing like an NBC interview about this?
Why are you thinking about your coworker's sex life?
Yeah, it's a good question. But I think he probably fits in pretty well in the Chiefs because, as said by Travis, he said probably at least 15% of the team are flat earthers. In that moment, we learned, thankfully, Travis Kelce's not a flat earther. Mm-hmm. And I was like, whew, bare minimum, thank you. Thanks. Go off, King.
I don't think his brother would allow that.
No, I don't think his brother's wife would allow. The way that I know that woman is like, give me his address. I'm going to beat the shit.
Yeah.
Because like she runs that family.
All right. Well, that is the end of the episode. Fuck that man. You're not wrong. Join us tomorrow for Fisting Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Come back and join us on Monday for Don't Blame Me, Tuesday for See You Next Tuesday. Then meet us right back here again on Thursday for But Am I Wrong? I would like to read a comment from one of our fearless listeners.
Fearless?
They sent it in.
On a roller coaster?
They sent it in while we were recording this. OMG, not me getting a covert shout out in the last episode. Thanks, Queens. Also, you can feel free to use my name on the pod. I don't mind, but thanks for being respectful. And that's from Gail.
Gail. Love it. Shout out, Gail. And Gail, how do you feel about your name twin gracing us as a body yaddy yaddy, hottie yaddy hottie on SI Swim?
I've never heard anybody refer to it as SI Swim.
What's it called again?
Sports Illustrated.
I keep seeing it just as a hashtag and I forgot what it stood for. And Cammy's always like, can't wait to do the SI Swim. And I was like, cool. I think I'm just seeing her tag them.
Maybe.
And that's what they have it there as. And I go, okay. And you know me, if I see it, I'm just going to regurgitate it immediately.
Yep. But yeah, join. Gail is a new-ish member of our Patreon.
Mm-hmm. But an OG of our Facebook group.
Also has been sending us messages for a while. So be like Gail and you could get a covert shout out until you give us permission to use your name. Join us every other week for a live stream.
Well, we will circle back.
Good night.
But Am I Wrong is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
and production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
Listening to a podcast should be time well spent, and I promise it will be if you'll give this podcast a try. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in every episode, I talk with leading experts on topics I know you will find fascinating. From why people can't keep secrets, what your favorite music says about you, why your pet acts in strange ways, and so much more. Something You Should Know is designed to give you information you can use in your life and give you great intel that you can share with others. I'm told it's a binge-worthy podcast. And with over 1,000 episodes, there's a lot to binge on. Something You Should Know has been ranked in the top of the Apple Podcast charts consistently for a long time. I know you're going to like this. I just need to get you to try it. Something You Should Know. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone. So we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural then and now.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey, guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like, it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out Real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.